Thanks for calling. What's on your mind?
Christian Jihad. Look, I was raised in the church. I'm borderline. I'm a theist, but after listening to Kelvin and Matthew and one of the other callers, man, I'm ready to step over the line. I can't be. I can't be intellectually just I think, and that's a problem with my family, with the people in the church. It just yeah. And
Well,
so,
hang on.
like I said,
Hang on, Chris.
yeah.
You're telling me you're a Christian, but after being on hold for a couple of calls, you're questioning your
No,
entire
no,
belief
no,
system?
no. It's built up. It's
Okay.
built up,
Oh,
but then it's like
all
and these are the same illogical thoughts that or thinking that I have to deal with when I just am around the people at church and my family, you know. That you were talking about giving. I guess it was Kelvin. He couldn't give without just giving from his heart. Not a brownie point to God. Just give. Why are you giving that homeless guy food? Because he's hungry. And Christians that I'm around don't get that. Some of them just don't get it, and it bothers me. So it's time to just like let it go.
Oh, come
And
over here to the secular side. We have cookies, Chris. We have cookies for you over here. Hey,
yeah.
on your call description, it says something about Christian jihad. I heard the words come out of your mouth just to make sure we stay on
Yeah.
target. What are you thinking? What's on
Okay.
your
Yeah.
mind?
Yeah. Yeah. Well, and I use that term in my mind from listening to these Christians that I'm around that it, the war that it's the right kind of Christianity. I'm trying to put it all together. So the
All right.
the evangelicals that I'm around, it scares me. They scare me because they want this war to end the world so they can get the rapture. So the rapture can happen. Some of them do. And here's my philosophy, and I'm not afraid to die. I've never been afraid to die. So I don't need to be involved in a religious war or any kind of war. If I die, I die. And now over time, I don't think that I'm going to go to some heaven or something like that. But the so many of these evangelicals that I have been friends with, they're just the Roe versus Wade, the weaponizing of the First Amendment, weaponizing the First Amendment, and they want to create a war over it. You know, I
Well,
I do
let's
believe this
dial
is
you in just
of
a little bit. Let me make sure
yeah,
let
yeah.
me try to
Reel me
articulate or
in.
say back to you. Yeah, it's all right. That's what I do. Um,
Yeah, yeah, you
so
do.
you were talking about, I think people, fundamentalists are driven by a great many motivations. I think there are some who genuinely are ready for the end of the world. And so if we see everything culminate in some sort of a Christian jihad, that is a precursor to the return of Christ, and they're ready for that. I think there were others who they're just fearful people and they're easily manipulated by those who understand the psychology of belief. I think there are people
Right.
who are just ignorant of science and history who are navigating the world and led around by every piece of information. I think there are so many types of Christian jihadists out there preparing for holy war for a number of reasons. Paulogia, did you want to weigh in on this? This sort of
No, I'm
looking to the sky and
I'm
waiting
still
for the
waiting
cloud to
to
part kind of thing?
no, I'm a little bit
Well,
unclear as to whether Chris is in favor of this Christian jihad or is
no, I
against
am
it. I'm
not.
I'm
I am
still
not.
unclear.
I am not in favor
Okay.
of this. I do believe in a secular country where so many of these people that I have been around truly believe this country was founded on Christian beliefs, and no, the Danbury letter, the wall of separation of church and state, they don't. I've tried to help them understand. The Baptists were afraid of their own, not just Baptists, afraid of the other religions getting more clout in the government and pushing the Baptist out of the way, and that's Christian jihad in a
So
way, and
you
that's
called
what
a
I.
couple of atheists. You're a theist, as according to the call screen. So you called a couple of atheists just to commiserate about how poorly Christians are acting.
No, well, no. But it scares me to see that there are people that are. I've asked them, "Will you die for your beliefs?" Yes, and I've asked them, "Will you kill for your beliefs?" And they go, "Yes." It's. I'm stepping over. I'm not part of that anymore.
I mean, you
After
didn't have to
today, I'm
sell us.
gonna.
We were both against this behavior before you called.
Yeah, I know. But well, I think the topic was, is there a problem being an atheist? And
Yes, that's correct.
yeah, and so I see these people bowing up on atheists behind the curtain. They're not saying, but they will kill for the beliefs. And I'd rather be an atheist now. Because none of the religion makes sense anymore. None of it does. None of it does.
All right, Chris.
Like
Well,
I said,
let me
it's
just put a
into.
punctuation. I hear your passion.
Yeah,
I hear your passion. Sounds like you've been running the block. On top of that, I appreciate that very much. But I'm glad, honestly, that you're doing your own thinking on all of this. It sounds to me like you're on a journey where
yes,
you're pursuing your own values, right and wrong, good for
yeah,
goodness sake. And that's a great place to be. Continue that journey. Intellectual
yeah,
honesty and humility, I think, will carry us a long way, and be safe out there.
yeah.
Okay.
All right. Bye bye.
All
Thank you.
right. See you later. Passionate dude. Very, very
Yeah.
excitable. He's right though. What happens when someone tips over a rock and they see the devil under every one of them? And what happens when they have been primed to think that everything's a danger? I mean, I did a speech on the satanic panic, I remember, and we used to, when I was growing up, everything was of the devil. Everything, we were playing records backwards, for Pete's sake, and people saw the devil in books and video games. People wouldn't go see the movie Jumanji because that was somehow a Ouija board. And if you showed up at their house with an actual Ouija board, which was a piece of cardboard with ink on it, they thought it was a portal to hell. And if they think that all of this is coming to a head, and there is a literal beast who is attacking you and those you love and everything you care about, and those people are heavily armed, and they are further motivated by authoritarian xenophobia, bigoted, racist, whatever thinking. It is a scary time. And so I understand exactly what Chris was talking about, but I also have some optimism, and I guess that maybe this is where you and I can wrap up. And I'm going to finish with your thoughts because I really want them. But I do see the rise of the non religious in this country as being one of the reasons that the zealots are panicking the way they are, the way they've had to be so nasty and so freaky. Is that they look and they see that they're in the minority more and more every day, that they are becoming, I think they're, what is it, Chris or Andrew Seidel says, they are raging against the dying of their privilege. I don't know. Do you see them as the wounded animal, dangerous, but dangerous because they're wounded?
Yeah. Well, I think there is certainly the extent that as they begin to recognize that they are no longer the cultural majority. Of course, it's almost silly to us to watch that things that when they no longer have a privileged position, they see it as some kind of persecution, right? Just being treated the same as everyone else is somehow harming them. That is that's bewildering. But no, I think you're right. I do think you're right. There's part of that to it. I think part of what resonated with me with Chris in that call was just the phenomenon of Zionism in America, and frankly, in my own circles as well, that Israel is going to be part of bringing the desired end of the world. And so one of the ways they channel that bring on the end of the world energy is to unquestionably support a nation. And I think you and I would both say nothing should be unquestionably supported. Every sup- bit of support should have caveats and questions behind it. And so, again, or similarly, like be it Donald Trump or Jesus or anything, if there's nothing that can sway you from your support of that person or idea, that's maybe a sign that that's a support that should be reevaluated, because there always should be some tipping point where you say, no, that's a bit too far. And sadly, we're not seeing a lot of that in today's world. So that would be my, I
You
guess,
know, the Bible
my final thought.
takes a hard line on doubt, doesn't it? You know, the Bible said the one who
Indeed.
doubts is like a wave of the sea, blown and tossed by the wind, and that person should not expect to receive anything from the Lord. I talk about why Thomas is my favorite disciple or apostle or whatever, because he was the one who dared to doubt after the resurrection. He said, "Oh, I don't know if it's Jesus. Show me the nail holes. Show me the hole in your side. Prove it to me." And he wanted peer review. And that's why I love Thomas. And I remember talking to someone about the utility and necessity, even the beauty of doubt, and they just winced because for them doubt was weakness, right? If
Mm,
you're a believer, you're a mighty oak, you are unwavering. And so then I went through a list of all the other ways that we use doubt in our lives to keep us safe and happy. You know, somebody shows up at your door and they say, "Hey, I've got a lottery ticket that's worth $1 million. All I need your bank account number." You know, if we doubt that, if we teach our kids, if a stranger opens the car door, you doubt that you would be safe and you run the other direction. If you get that text that says, "Hey, we're updating your Google Drive listing, just send us your info," that doubt keeps us from being scammed. If we're in a relationship where we feel that we're being deceived, our doubt might help keep us from getting conned or scammed, even abused, whatever, lied to. We use doubt as a safety mechanism all the time for determining what is and is not true. And I think doubt has to be a critical and important element for how we address our religions as well. And I think a worthy deity would welcome doubt, would be like, doubt me. Yeah, I'm strong enough. I'm solid enough. I am so overwhelmingly provable that I welcome challenge and I will overwhelmingly make it so that everybody gets it. And there's no doubt or no question. So the idea that Jesus would chide people for having doubts or that any religion would punish doubt for me, I think is that's a major red flag. Doubt is a beautiful thing. I mean, that's not an overstatement, is it, Paul?
not at all. Doubt is a virtue.
Doubt is a virtue. Oh, that's another great show title. Doubt is a virtue. I guess we'll call it unless you have anything else you want to say or do, Mr. Paulogia.
No, I feel like if I've had you write 3 things down, so that's the most I could hope for.
Nuggets of wisdom. Nuggets of wisdom.